Prepare for the closing statements.
And then Fridays are big, basically, I guess.
Is the defense ready for a closing statement?
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, Your Honor, thank you for your attention for the next few minutes as I bring this case to a close and prove to you that Morgan McGrath is in fact not guilty. I would like to take this time to make it obvious to you that this case is one of misfortune and false accusation. Poor Morgan McGrath has been accused of arson starting in room 2A of the Fraser Butterworth Natural Sciences building because of a grade that he received from one of his professors, Professor Bode. Morgan took his writing class and got a B-, his first ever B in his entire collegiate career. Because of this, the prosecution is attempting to prove that Morgan intentionally set fire to the building because Professor Vedder, whose room the students were working in, is married to Professor Bode. However, throughout this case, the prosecution has not presented a single piece of evidence confirming that Morgan was in fact aware of the connection between Professor Bode and Professor Vedder. Morgan loved chemistry, and to burn down the building where he would need to take classes for the next several years and conduct experiments and study equations, things that he adored, would simply make no sense. If there is even the slightest bit of doubt that Morgan was not the one to commit the crime, you, as the final decision, must vote not guilty. Jesse Dewar, a close friend and classmate of Morgan, was a witness for the prosecution. He states, and I quote, on line 7 of his testimony, "I was ranked second in our graduating class, behind Morgan." He then continues to talk about how he works extremely hard to pass Morgan in the ranks, but does not have much success because Morgan has hardly ever gotten below an A. Well, Jesse was most certainly in luck because not only did Morgan get his B-, but now he has been falsely accused of arson, and of course Jesse jumped in to help accuse him. This was Jesse's big chance of getting ahead of Morgan for once in his life, so why wouldn't he jump at the chance to get Morgan in trouble? The scanner system is flawed as well. As brought out in Jesse's cross-examination, there is a possibility that someone could have been in the building without ever rechecking in, because as shown in Exhibit I, the security activity log has an open access time period of 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., leaving time for anyone to enter the building freely. Solely based on the honor system then, the students and teachers are expected to recheck in if they're going to continue to remain in the building after 6 p.m. Who is to say that someone did not cheat the system and was in the building before 6, never rechecked in, and then started the fire when the 3 left the lab? The prosecution's entire case is based off of Jesse Dewar's testimony, which does actually contradict Chris Martellione's testimony, their other witness. Chris claimed that all 3 of the students replaced their hot plates, when, in fact, Jesse admits to accidentally leaving his on Lab Station 1. Jesse's smoke also got suspiciously 5 minutes longer the second time he smoked, and claimed to see Morgan exit the building from the left side, where Lab 2A was. Thank you once again for taking the time to listen to all that I have to say. As the jury, the fate of Morgan McGrath lies in your hands, but I want to leave you with this. By convicting a not guilty victim of arson, you are ruining the life of more than just Morgan, but his friends and family that know him better than to think he did a terrible crime like this one. Consider what is right, consider what is wrong, and consider what means the most to this nation: justice. And with justice, let us continue the search for the criminal who burned down this building, and not take the easy way out by convicting a poor, not guilty teen who happened to be suspected because of far-fetched ideas. Remember Morgan in your decision, and remember the love and adoration that he has for those around him and chemistry at his college. Don't take his future from him. Thank you.
Does the prosecution care to have a closing statement? Okay.
I am blind. Hi. I thank you for your attention for these 2 days, and in a moment we'll turn the vote over to you so that you can complete this process. Now, Butterworth Hall did not spontaneously combust. That, I hope, is clear. Though through the testimony of a fire forensic expert, the prosecution has proved to you that the fire was directly caused by malicious action. The facts and evidence have been the same as they were at the beginning of this 2-day trial. The activity log shows that Morgan McGrath was the last out of the building and had 8 minutes of time where his actions were unknown and he himself did not address. At the same time, video showed a figure entering Lab 2A. The forensic expert has confirmed that the fire began 10 minutes later. Threatening emails and writing show that no matter how urbane and excellent this young man is said to be, there are still means to commit this impulsive crime and to lie to preserve his father's respect. At the end of the day, Butterworth Hall is still a burnt-out shell, and somebody had to have caused the fire. Your duty as the jury is to determine if the hard evidence presented by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania is more convincing than the defense's attempt to implicate Jesse in this crime, Morgan's fondness for chemistry, an imaginary person who could have set the fire but has no actual motive as addressed by the defense. We have kept our case short and to the point. It shouldn't be a hard decision. Thank you for your time.
Objection. The facts are not in the evidence. You never brought up the threatening emails and things that.
We have given the evidence.
You guys brought it up.
What?
You showed them the...
No, that was the Morgan.
That was my
the
email.
There were never threatening emails that were brought up.
No, the first
No,
time.
yeah,
It
we
was
weren't submitted, but.
It was
Jerry,
Jerry, shut up.
The threatening letter.
They were brought
Yeah.
up.
The letter.
Where was the,
Yes,
well,
both were brought up in my direct.
could I ask the question, when did the prosecution enter as evidence a threatening email?
It was in response when we asked why we turned our suspect to Morgan, and he brought up that little...
Who was on the stand when this happened?
It was me.
Council forgot to give you it, but he gave the jury.
I forgot to declare it. But the exhibit was still submitted.
The exhibit was submitted to the jury, both of them.
In the letter.
Yeah, that was. The handwritten memos.
Wow.
I don't recall the handwritten letter being addressed, but was it brought up in the testimony?
Yes, I was giving during the direct testimony of Fire Chief. I asked him why he decides to pursue.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Okay, Dave.
I didn't check video evidence.
I know that we've had some,
Eventually.
thank you. I know we've had some issues with entering evidence, and it hasn't been very regular, but we're going to assume that if that was brought up and if the jury did get a copy of that, then it is part and parcel of the record as stands. Okay. Thank you for your objection. So that is overruled. Jury, if you would take out your ballot for 1 second.
Mr.
And look
Radican,
at the front of that ballot.
could I please get a ballot?
I'm sorry.
Please get a ballot.
Where were you the other day when I gave you